guys, what's up? Shadow here and welcome to this a bit special video about No Man's Sky. This game is like a zombie, isn't it? It always seems to come back from the dead. The last video I made about No Man's Sky was probably more than a year ago, if I remember correctly. So, why am I making a video again? You might be asking. Well, it's simple, because there was an update released, you know, in case you didn't notice, which I cannot blame you, really, if you don't follow this game's news, since it has been out for such a long time, and if you weren't interested in it back then, yeah, what can you say, you know? So, what is this update about? It's called the next update, and obviously this here, it's not really a review of the update, because it's been out since a long time. Well, since a few weeks, so I'm a bit late on that. It's more like a how I experienced this update, and the eternal question, which I think in the last two videos I made, I always had to say, I don't recommend this game, even though I like it, and, you know, maybe this time it will be different. Who knows, right? So, the next update. What does this update do? Basically, it adds, this is one of the biggest thing, and one of the things that I actually care least about, ironically enough, is multiplayer. It added multiplayer, like quote-unquote true multiplayer, so to speak. What does that mean? Basically, that means that when you start a game, you can either say you want to play your own session, or you can play another player's session. And you can choose, do you want to join one of your friends' session? Do you want to join a random player's session? So you can actually go into their worlds and do stuff there, which is interesting, you know? And the thing is, for me, that has never been a priority, since I don't really have any friends that play this game, so it's not really something I care about that much. But it's nice to see. But there has been a host of other upgrades in this update, which I really enjoyed. One of the aspects that was already in the previous games, or the previous updates, but was, in my opinion, severely lacking, is base building. There was two major problems with base building, in my opinion, and one of them was you can only build bases at very specific areas, which kind of made it boring, in my opinion. And the other big problem of the base building was, of course, that you can only have one base. And so what I tended to do, I never really built a base in that update. What I was doing, I was searching frantically for a good spot on a good planet, and then I was like, that planet is not quite perfect, so maybe I should, I'm gonna look for another planet. You know what I mean? I always was looking for that one cooler planet. So they fixed that. For one, you can now build bases wherever you want, and two, you can have unlimited bases. So this is like my main base I have right now, which I'm actually quite pleased with. It's not perfect, you know, but it's very cool. So, you know, there's a lot of decorative items. I think they added a lot more in this update too. A lot of decorative stuff. There's portals, which I think were in before. You know, you can hire your crew for certain missions. For example, there's this guy up here, which missions I'm about to do right now, which is the Exocraft missions, which give you a vehicle. I already have one, so he's helping me upgrade it. There's the guy that... Oops. Ladder, hello. There's the guy that helps you grow plants. And actually, I need to fill up this dome with plants as well, because this thing looks amazing. And yeah, I really enjoyed base building this time around. Before, I could never really be bothered, because, you know, I never found a good place to build stuff anyway. And then, you know, it was always a little bit sad to see, like, oh, you know, you could have maybe this base, but it's on a good planet, but at a shitty position, or this is a cool planet, but the position of the base is really crap, and that really didn't make it lots of fun. you know? So, yeah, it was kind of weird. But they fixed that, so I'm very happy with that. And another thing they added in this update, which I really dig, is missions. They added a bunch of, like, a mission system other than your main missions. I mean, there's still your main missions, go to the space anomaly, and, you know, go to the galactic core and whatnot. But there's like, you can get a shit ton of secondary missions. And now how that works is, you either find, like, people on, you know, just the ground somewhere. Maybe you'll find a dude on a trading post or in a minor settlement, or the most effective way to get missions is to go to space stations in the universe or the solar system you actually are at the moment. And there is like a mission, a blackboard kind of thing, a mission office. And from there you can get a bunch of missions that are basically tied to different factions. Of course, there's the different alien races, the 3 main alien races, and then there are 3 guilds, like the Explorer Guild, the Mercenaries, and the Traders, I think. And they all offer missions to you, and doing these missions will reward you with nanites, which you use for blueprints and upgrades, money, which you use to buy all kinds of stuff, and of course, sometimes you also get items. So the thing with these missions is they designed these really well, because the first time around when I accepted some of these missions, I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but you know, I want to zip around different systems and explore, so I don't think I would you know, get a mission and then fulfill it later and then go back to that other system to hand it in. But they actually thought about that, and that's not how it works. If you complete a mission that you got from one of these mission agents, you can hand that in at any space station, which is genius. So you can just zip around the universe. Eventually you will complete certain missions. For example, the ones that I lay off most of the times are the kill Sentinels missions, because Sentinels are super annoying in this update, but we'll go to that a little bit later. So I'll just collect these missions, and you can collect, so far as I have seen, infinite amount of secondary missions, or at least a big number. And sometimes they are the same. You know, sometimes you will get missions like kill 8 Sentinels, kill 6 Sentinels, kill 4 Sentinels. And then basically, if you get into an altercation with the Sentinels, you can complete them later all at once, and then go back to a mission agent and get your rewards. That's a cool system. I like that, because it does not hinder me exploring, and it gives me some additional incentives to do certain things. Because normally I probably would not ever fight Sentinels. Why would I? But with those missions, sometimes, you know, I'm about to leave a planet and then I'm like, well, let's pick a fight with Sentinels, you know? But yeah, it's very interesting. I like that. I like this system. What else can I say about this update? The base building, because you can have an infinite amount of bases, or at least I'm pretty sure it's infinite. They said you can have multiple bases, and I nowhere found a limit. So I think if there is a limit, then it's probably like a hard limit based on programming, and I'm sure players will never reach that. But because you can have infinite bases, for example, in this system I have a base on every planet. Now, what good... Whoa! Whoops! What good is that for, you might ask? Well, damn it, I need to kind of try to get out of this. This is good for something very, very interesting. You can, of course, in bases you can build these portals, right? So what you can do, for example, in this system, I have, I think, 2 or 3 planets with specific resources on it that I need every once in a while. Things like star bramble or the gamma weed, frost crystals, stuff like that. And what you can do is, if you locate like a big chunk of frost crystals, for example, on one planet, you can build a base next to that, put a portal in that, and then, because these resources regrow over time, you can visit there every once in a while to collect more frost crystals. You can just zip around, gather resources, go back to your main base and start crafting things, selling them for profit. You know, that's a cool thing. And even better, I have also some bases in other systems. What I found is that you can warp between systems with portals without using your warp drive. You know, you don't have to waste your warp fuel, which is amazing in my opinion. And the ship always gets teleported with you, which is the greatest thing ever. First time I used the teleport, I was like, oh yeah, great, and then I'm gonna be stranded on that base and basically just have to warp back and then get my ship. That's not how it works. It's pretty cool. It teleports your ship with you. So, for example, if I would have to harvest solar vines now, which of course I also have solar vines, I think right here, growing. But if I need a big amount of solar vines, I can just hop into a portal, warp into another system where I have built a little base next to a solar vine plantation, so to speak, and just harvest about 300-400 of those and then just warp back in a few seconds. That makes the game a lot more easy. Maybe easy is not the right word, because you need a lot of resources to set up all these bases. You need a lot of this pure ferrite stuff, you need a lot of chromatic metal, and you know, there is a certain cost to all of that, but it's really interesting in my opinion. It really is fun. I'm having fun building a lot of bases. And I always try to design them a little bit different, you know, have them have a different color based on the planet they're on. It's really cool. I dig that. So, bases get a big thumbs up for me. Missions too. They also restructured a lot of the main missions. But there's a little gripe I have with the main missions. Some of them are buggy. Still. Or again. However you want to say that. But it's really, really annoying. Because there was, for example, a mission right here on this planet where I had to kill 8 sentinels. And that was really buggy because I killed about 30 of them. And it didn't trigger. And then I had to like log in, log out and log in again. And then it kind of worked, but it still didn't. It didn't count how many I had killed. But suddenly it said, oh yeah, it's good. You can go back. Or there was a Mordorite route. Ooh, okay. There was another mission where I had to log out and log in into a multiplayer session to actually complete it. I think it was I had to destroy one of these Sentinel depots. And apparently, if you destroy that depot from your ship with the ship's laser cannons, which is the easiest thing you can do, it doesn't count. Which is kind of dumb. I had to find another depot and then approach it on foot, destroy it with your normal laser guns, and then it counts. But it was really, really annoying. I can tell you that. Cannot build, invalid position. Why? I'm not quite sure why I cannot build these here. Can somebody tell me why I cannot build these here? I'm kind of confused. This is weird. Maybe it might be a bug too. This is one of the biggest complaints I have about this update. There's a lot of bugs. And also there's a very annoying bug with another feature. And that feature is in theory very interesting because it adds a whole other component to the game. You can have, I think even before, you could have a freighter, like a big ship where you can store lots of items on, and this ship can warp around. You can store different aircrafts on that ship. And now you can also have frigates, which are like support vessels for your fleet. And you can send them on missions. So it's basically like a management kind of system thing. You send them on a mission, they're gonna do some stuff, they will return in 3-4 hours and bring profit, basically. And that is cool. I like that. I like being able to, you know, log in, send them on a mission, and when I log out, or maybe next time I log in, I get a bunch of rewards. That is cool. I dig that. The problem is there's certain bugs with that too. Also, let me just... Oh, God. I have an inventory problem, as you can see. Actually, let's warp this onto our freighter. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. You can send them on missions, and the thing is, if they have a chance to get damaged, you know, while you send them on a mission. And if they do, they warp back where your freighter is at the moment, and then... yeah, it's okay. And then you have to repair them. Now, there's the first little problem here. You have to repair them manually. And if you have 1 or 2 freighters that are damaged, that's okay. You have to fly to them and land on them, and then there's like... Each ship has like 6, 8 consoles, and some of them will be damaged, and you have to bring material to the consoles and repair them. It's all nice and good. But the problem is, you can have up to, I think, 30 frigates? And you can imagine what kind of a bother that is gonna be. You know? So, I'm not quite sure that is a good kind of implementation of that mechanic, you know? I mean, repairing, yeah, okay, I can see that. But there should be a bit more convenient way to do it than flying to each ship separately, because they somehow are incapable of repairing their own ships. And there's also where I encountered more bugs with the ships. One of the bugs was one of my frigates warped back into my system where my freighter was at, and it warped inside a planet, meaning I could not access it. I could not land on it. It is kind of dumb. I could fix it by just logging in and log out and log in again. But still, that is really, really dumb that stuff like that happens, don't you think? But yeah, and the second problem is I encountered a weird bug where it would not be able to display all consoles that need to be repaired. It said 1 console damaged, and then when I went on the ship, all consoles appeared to be in good order, so I couldn't repair the frigate, which was infuriating. So there's still a lot of bugs in this game, which really dumbs it down a little bit, because it's very frustrating if you get stuck on a mission and you have to look up for a half an hour how people actually manage to get around this. And it's really, really infuriating. But, you know, I can say I really enjoy the game right now. I really enjoy zipping around the universe, building bases, sending my fleet into missions. I do enjoy it. But of course, the biggest question again is, can I recommend the game? It's hard. It's really hard to say it with confidence, because the game still has problems, and if you're not even remotely into this kind of game, then yeah, no, you would not want to play this. Definitely not. But if you were always on like the brink of should I buy No Man's Sky or not, and you haven't bought it until now, then yeah, maybe now might be the right time. Maybe also wait until it's on sale, you know, just in case. But I think right now is not the worst time to buy this game. I really think so. Especially with if you're enjoying like the base building aspect, it really, really made this a whole lot better. I mean, I think you can even have multiple bases on the same planet. You can have like multiple settlements and stuff like that. So I do enjoy that, you know. And they also bumped up, if you played before, they bumped up I think it's called the base complexity, which is basically the thing that limits you how much you can build in one base. Kind of like in Fallout 4, where you have the settlement limit, you know, how much complex objects you can place in your base. They bumped that up a bunch. They added a whole lot of new decorative stuff. And I think it's quite great right now. I really do. But again, it's you have to know for yourself. I still couldn't 100% recommend it, but I would say this. Right now, the game is better than it ever has been. It really is. If the game had been like this at the start, when they released it, I think it actually would have gone very well. You know? I mean, there would still be players that are pissed off and would want a refund, but this is probably more like the game that we expected at the start. You know? And even though I bought it at release, even though I did that, I knew very well that the game probably didn't hold up to what it promised. But right now, it's not doing bad, to be honest. It's really not doing bad right now. So, yeah, I think it's an interesting buy if you wanna do it. If you wanna buy this game on sale, now would be one of the best times. Also, they revamped the whole introduction mission stuff, and I feel it's a lot better now. You know, I restarted. This is like a completely new save right now, and it was great fun. Also, they at least for me, I didn't play all the updates when they came out, but for me, the whole upgrade system changed as well. You know how the whole upgrading of your weapons and your exosuit works. They changed that all around. And you might have seen it in this video already. They changed a lot of the names of the resources. They're now split in a lot more different categories and names, which makes the game feel a little bit more genuine, you know? I mean, at the beginning it was like you had carbon, you had iron, and you had the blue stuff, and I don't know what the blue stuff was called back then, but you had like very few categories, and they split them up in lots of different materials, and now it kind of feels more interesting, the game. It feels more yeah, like you're actually collecting different materials instead of the 5 same materials over and over again. And so much things to craft, you know, you get a lot of different blueprints, you can craft these upgrade modules, which you can just install like that. It's very interesting. So yeah, I will still continue to play this, obviously, because I really enjoy it right now. I probably will get bored at one point, but that's like that with all the games. But I think this is the best this game has ever been. And this would be like a good time if you were always wondering how it is to get into it. I really think so. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this like very spontaneous video. I mean, the last No Man's Sky videos were kind of scripted and planned. I just wanted to share my experience this time around. You know, just untainted, show you what I think, how it feels. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.